The truth is, as far as we can tell, the universe has a limit. Well, at least from what we can observe. Think of it like this. You're out in the ocean, and no matter how far you look, there's always that line, the horizon. You know there's more ocean beyond that line, but your eyes can only see so far. The universe works in a similar way. We've got this cosmic horizon, a boundary set by the speed of light and the age of the universe. Beyond that line, something insane exists beyond the edge of the universe. Something so vast, so strange, that it challenges everything we think we know about reality.
Because light does not travel at an infinitely fast speed. Travels 186,000 miles per second. That's fast. But it's not infinite. It's so not infinite that you would be frustrated having a phone conversation with someone on the moon because the delay is 3 seconds. You would speak, and by the time they heard you reply to them, 3 seconds would have passed. It would not make a good phone conversation. That's how long it takes the light just to get to the moon. It takes 8 minutes, 20 seconds to get to the sun. It takes 100,000 years to cross the galaxy. It takes 1 billion years to get to the distant galaxies. 13.7 billion years to cross the known universe. It takes time. All right. Put a pin in that fact. Another fact. The universe had a birthday 13.7 billion years ago. So imagine a universe that is infinitely large. Now, put yourself in the middle, and I tell you this universe was born 13.7 billion years ago. So, let's go out to the circle, to the sphere around us, go to the spot that's 13.7 billion light years away. In other words, go to the spot where light from objects has taken 13.7 billion years to reach you. You're going to be watching that object being born because its birth light is just now reaching you. Come in a little bit. You're going to see those in their toddler years. Come in a little, they're in the adolescence. Come in a little closer. Come to the present day and you see everyone in their modern day maturity. So there's a limit to how far you can see in an infinite universe if the universe had a birth date and the speed of light is finite. Wait 1 billion years. Now the horizon is 14.7 billion light years away. Now you're seeing those galaxies get born. So the interesting thing about the universe in which we live, as long as there's galaxies that get overtaken by this expanding horizon, you will always bear witness to the birth of the universe because somebody is always being born. The interesting part is if the signature of the Big Bang goes away, that would tell you that your horizon washed over a region of the universe where there are no more galaxies to show you their birthday clothes. That would tell you that you in fact reached the edge of the universe. Right now, we can only tell you about the edge of our horizon, but that is an ever-expanding horizon that's still delivering up the signature of the Big Bang.
The universe had a birthday about 13.7 billion years ago. So picture yourself as the universe's ultimate party guest, standing in the middle of an ever-expanding celebration. The farther you look, the older things get. It's like looking through a time machine. Objects, billions of light years away, are sending us their light now. But that light started its journey long before humans even existed. It's as if you're seeing the baby pictures in the sky. Closer objects? They're teenagers, full of cosmic drama, and the ones nearby are in their prime. As you look deeper, you start to wonder, what happens beyond that edge? What's sitting out there, past the point where our telescopes can reach? What mysteries lie beyond the observable universe?
We look out to the edge of the observable universe, and we see light that has been traveling for 13.8 billion years. That gives us evidence of the Big Bang for that part of the universe experiencing it at the time it emitted that light. That horizon continues to push out, As long as we keep seeing evidence of the Big Bang, we are still moving into a universe that's our whole. Imagine the day where that horizon washes over the last bit of matter that experienced the Big Bang. Then the information coming to us about the Big Bang ceases. And all of what we know of cosmology would have no data set at that point. And at that point, you're basically the moving horizon, which gets 1 light year away from us per year at that speed, would have overtaken the last matter of the universe, and that would be the edge of the universe.
Physicists think that they have an idea, but it's a bit like trying to imagine a color you've never seen. We know the universe is expanding, like blowing up a balloon, and it's doing so faster and faster. If we could fast forward time 1 billion years, our horizon would stretch even further, revealing galaxies we've never even seen before. But right now, we're stuck at that edge, waiting for the next big reveal. But this isn't just about distance, it's about time too. The light we're seeing from those far-off galaxies has taken billions of years to reach us. So, when we see a galaxy at the edge of our view, we're not seeing it as it is now. We're seeing it as it was billions of years ago. We're witnessing the cosmic nursery, where stars and galaxies are born, grow up, and sometimes die before our very eyes. What if there's more beyond that? What if there are entire realms of the universe that we can never see, no matter how powerful our technology gets? Well, we're in the middle of something so large, so expansive, that our tools, our eyes, our telescopes, can't quite reach the end of it. We're confident that the universe stretches beyond our current reach, way beyond. It's not just because we haven't found the edge yet. It's because the universe itself keeps expanding, moving the goalpost further and further away. And that's where things get really weird. What if somewhere out there, beyond what we can see, lies something totally different? Something insane, something beyond anything we could ever imagine. Maybe there's another universe, or maybe the laws of physics work differently out there. We're talking about the kind of stuff that bends your mind in knots. Galaxies born in the distant reaches of space are just now sending us their birth announcements. But even those galaxies have their own horizons, and beyond them, there could be whole new realms waiting to be discovered. We often talk about the observable universe, and that's what we measure. It's got billions of galaxies, countless stars, and even more planets. But we're only seeing a small slice of the cosmic pie. We have no idea how big the whole pie really is. Is there more out there, beyond what we can observe? You bet. Some scientists even suggest that there could be multiple universes, each with their own laws, their own galaxies, maybe even their own versions of reality. It's a wild thought, but it's one that makes you realize just how little we know. We're still cosmic infants, looking out into the universe with wide-eyed wonder, trying to make sense of it all. Imagine breathing in, just regular breath, like any other. But in that single breath, you're inhaling 50 sextillion atoms. Now, just to put that into perspective, that's a 5 followed by 22 zeros. Mind-boggling, right? And that's only one breath. Your entire body? It's built from 7 octillion atoms. That's a 7 followed by 27 zeros. Now, zoom out a bit. Picture the whole Earth, made up of a mind-bending 100 quindecillion atoms, basically a 1 with 50 zeros behind it. That's our home. But we aren't even scratching the surface yet. Let's go further. Out to the observable universe. You know, that place that stretches out for 46 billion light years? Within that incomprehensible expanse, there are thought to be 100,000 quadrillion vigintillion atoms, a number so vast, it's nearly impossible for us to truly grasp. But here's the thing. Even numbers like that pale in comparison to the real giants. If you take the total volume of the observable universe and divide it by the smallest possible unit of space, known as the Planck space, you would end up with a number that's 1 followed by 185 zeros. Just imagine every single thing that we can see, divided into minuscule cubes. But hold on, we're still not at the biggest number humans have conceived of yet. There's a number that even the mind-blowing vastness of the universe can't compete with. A number that comes from an innocent-sounding mathematical puzzle called Tree 3. As Antonio Padilla, a physicist at Nottingham University, puts it, everything you think you know is dwarfed into nothing. It's a number so massive, it almost doesn't seem real. Picture it like this. You're playing a game where you're growing trees from colored seeds. and each level you can add more seeds and branches. But there's a catch. You can't create a tree that's already appeared in your forest. If you do, the game ends. Simple, right? Well, not exactly. Tree 1 only allows one seed color, so it dies quickly. Tree 2 lets you get a bit further, but the game still fizzles out pretty fast. But when we get to Tree 3, everything changes. Using just 3 colors, mathematicians have created a forest that grows and keeps on growing for an unfathomable amount of time. The game will eventually end. Mathematically, it has to. But the number of trees it takes to get there? That's a number so big that it would literally blow your mind if you tried to comprehend it. No one has been able to calculate it, and for good reason. Doing so would overload the brain. We're talking about a number so vast that if you tried to imagine it, the sheer amount of information would collapse into a black hole. Now here's where things start to get really interesting. Even this insane number that Tree 3 produces, this mind-boggling, incomprehensible giant, is still finite. As impossibly large as it is, it has an end. But then there's infinity, the concept of something that has no end. No matter how big Tree 3 is, infinity makes it look tiny. Because with infinity, there's always more. It never stops. It's an endless loop that keeps going and going and going. So if we keep pushing past Tree 3 and past every giant number that the human mind can dream up, what's waiting for us out there? Is there a final boundary to the universe? Or does it just stretch on forever, infinite in every direction? And if that's the case, if the universe is truly infinite, what does that mean for us? Could there be something unimaginable lurking just beyond the edge of what we can see? It's a question that has baffled scientists and thinkers for centuries. What lies beyond the edge of the universe? We know that the observable universe has a limit, a point where we can't see any further. But what about beyond that? Is there another universe? Multiple universes? Or is there just nothing? The truth is, we don't know. But the possibilities are endless, literally. We're standing on the edge of something incredible. It could be a new dimension, a parallel universe, or something even more mind-bending than we've ever imagined. Let's take a trip back to ancient Greece. It's about 530 BCE, and a group of thinkers are huddled together in a dimly lit room in southern Italy. They aren't talking about politics or planning the next big event. Nope. They're obsessing over numbers. And not just any numbers, but numbers they believed could explain the universe. Their leader? Pythagoras. You might remember him from math class. You know, the guy with the triangle theorem. But to these guys, he was practically a god. Pythagoras and his crew believed that numbers held the keys to the universe. They were obsessed with trying to explain everything through mathematical ratios. The simple stuff, like counting and measuring, made sense to them. But as soon as they hit something that didn't fit neatly into their system, like irrational numbers, they got uncomfortable. Why? Because irrational numbers, by their nature, don't have a clean ending. They just keep going, forever. To the Pythagoreans, this was unsettling, and to them, anything infinite or uncontrollable was a big no-no. But here's the twist. What those ancient thinkers struggled with might be at the heart of what lies beyond the edge of the universe: infinity. It's this mind-bending concept that has stumped philosophers, mathematicians, and scientists for thousands of years. You see, the universe, vast as it is, has limits. But what lies beyond those limits? The very idea of something existing outside the boundaries of our universe forces us to confront infinity head-on. And trust me, infinity is far from simple. Let's break this down a bit more. Imagine trying to reach a destination. Every step you take brings you halfway closer to your goal. But then each subsequent step only brings you halfway closer again. You never actually get there. This paradox, Zeno's paradox, plays with the idea of infinity, suggesting that some things, like the journey to the end of the universe, could theoretically go on forever without resolution. But here's the kicker. Even though it seems impossible, we now know that infinity isn't just a mathematical curiosity. It might be real. And it might be waiting for us just beyond the edge of the universe. The ancient Greeks wrestled with this idea. Some believed that true infinity didn't exist in our physical world. Others tried to organize it into neat categories, like potential infinity, which is the kind you encounter when you're counting or measuring something, and actual infinity, which is a complete, endless quantity existing all at once. The Greeks were fine with potential infinity, After all, we're used to thinking of things like time or space as potentially infinite. But actual infinity? That was scary to them. It felt impossible. Fast forward to today, and we're still struggling with the same concepts. But the difference is that now, our telescopes and scientific models are pushing the boundaries of what we know, forcing us to reconsider those ancient fears. What if, beyond the furthest galaxies that we can see, there's something infinite, something that defies our understanding of physics and reality itself? It's kind of like this. Imagine a fish in a pond. To the fish, that pond is the entire universe. Everything it knows, everything it understands, is contained within that body of water. But what if that fish could somehow break through the edge of its pond and find itself in the vast ocean beyond? The fish would be stepping into a reality so much larger, so much more incomprehensible than what it knew before. That's what we're talking about when we say something insane could exist beyond the universe we know. We are the fish, and we're just starting to understand that there might be an ocean beyond our little cosmic pond. Now, here's where it gets wild. Scientists today are playing with ideas that push the very boundaries of even the most advanced theories. Things like multiverses, where our universe is just one bubble in a sea of infinite bubbles, each with its own rules and physics. Or the idea that our universe might be just one layer in a stacked series of dimensions. What lies beyond our universe might not just be more space and stars. It could be something entirely different. A realm with rules that make no sense to us, where time doesn't flow and space doesn't stretch the way we know it. For a long time, the Greeks, over 2,500 years ago, wrestled with the concept of infinity. They couldn't fathom how something could go on forever. Their solution? Avoid it. Infinity was left to the realms of thought and philosophy, not reality. But as time moved forward, mathematicians and scientists began to grapple with infinity head-on. Enter George Cantor in the 19th century, a man who took the concept of infinity and flipped it on its head. Cantor didn't just say that infinity exists. He showed that there are different kinds of infinity. Let that sink in for a moment. Different kinds of infinity. Like how there are an infinite number of even numbers, but also an infinite number of odd numbers. The two are different, yet both stretch endlessly. And that's just scratching the surface. Cantor went further, revealing that even within infinity, there are things larger than other infinities. Confusing? You're not alone. Cantor himself struggled with the implications, suffering several nervous breakdowns throughout his career. But his revelations opened the door to understanding that our universe might be just one piece of an infinite puzzle, a puzzle with more parts than we can even imagine. It's mind-bending, to say the least. And here's where things get even crazier. As scientists began applying this abstract math to real-world phenomena, they started seeing infinity pop up everywhere. Black holes, for example, contain infinite densities at their core. The universe itself may stretch out into infinity, without any boundaries, without any edge. But what if there's something beyond? Something more than just an endless stretch of space? Picture this. You're standing on a beach, the waves gently lapping at your feet. As far as your eyes can see, there's nothing but water. The ocean feels like it stretches forever. But deep down, you know that there's more beyond that horizon. What lies beyond the ocean? More islands, more continents, more to explore. Now think of the universe like that ocean. We can see so much of it. But what lies beyond? What strange shores are waiting out there? There are those who believe that beyond the observable universe, beyond the vast cosmic ocean, there's something different. Some scientists suggest that our universe could be just one of many in a larger multiverse, a concept that is as thrilling as it is terrifying. Imagine infinite universes, each with their own laws of physics, their own stars, their own versions of reality. Some of these universes could be similar to ours. Others might be so alien that our minds can't even begin to comprehend them. But it's not just about parallel universes. Some theories suggest that the edge of our universe could be connected to something beyond time and space itself, an entirely different dimension or reality. Maybe what exists isn't another universe at all, but something so fundamentally different that our human brains can't wrap themselves around it. It's a realm beyond our understanding, a place where the rules of existence as we know them simply don't apply. And isn't that the most exciting part? The idea that the universe we see is just one chapter in an endless book of possibilities. Just as a Sentinelese man looked out from his island and saw a vast ocean, we looked out into space and saw a cosmic sea. But what's beyond? Could there be other islands, other universes, or something even stranger. If we're being honest, the universe as we know it already feels insane. We've got supermassive black holes, galaxies crashing into each other, stars being born and dying in cosmic explosions that make nuclear bombs look like firecrackers. But to think that beyond all this insanity, there could be something even more extraordinary. It's enough to make your head spin. Just as our ancestors once thought the Earth was flat, only to discover that it was part of a much larger, spherical planet, we might one day discover that our universe is just one small part of a much larger, much more complex reality. We're living in an age of exploration, not of lands and oceans, but of the cosmos itself. And just like those ancient explorers who set sail into the unknown, we're standing on the brink of discovering something that could change everything we know about existence. Then there's Thomas Hobbes. Hobbes, being the practical philosopher that he was, decided it wasn't worth speculating about the infinite. To him, the idea of an unmeasurable, unseeable reality was like chasing the wind. Why bother? He urged people to focus on what they could observe, the tangible, the measurable. And in some ways, his argument has survived, shaping modern science's cautious approach to the unknown. It's a mindset of, if we can't prove it, why pursue it? But let's be honest, how can we not be tempted to explore? Now, fast forward to today. We have cutting-edge technology, telescopes that can peer into the past, and scientists who have mapped the observable universe to an impressive degree. But here's where things get fascinating. Everything we know, everything we can see, is limited by the speed of light. Imagine this. Light travels at around 300 million meters per second. But that means the further out we look into space, the further back in time we're gazing. We're literally looking into the past, at galaxies from billions of years ago. Some so ancient, they existed long before Earth was even formed. But around 13.8 billion years ago, something curious happened. The galaxies start to fade away, not because they've disappeared, but because that's as far as the light has traveled since the beginning of time. Beyond that, it's a blank canvas waiting to be filled with our imagination. It's like reading a book and suddenly finding a page missing. You know the story isn't over, but you're left wondering what comes next. What's wild is that the edge of what we can see isn't even a real edge. It's more like a speed limit. Light can only travel so fast, and that's what determines the boundaries of our view. And as the universe expands, that edge keeps moving. Those galaxies we can just barely make out now, they're actually much farther away than they appear, thanks to the constant stretching of space itself. We're talking about a universe that's 92 billion light-years across and still growing. Think about that for a second. We're looking at an observable universe that's mind-bogglingly vast, yet still, we're stuck wondering, what's beyond that? We can see 92 billion light-years in one direction, but what's lurking just beyond that final horizon? Is there more space, more galaxies, more mysteries, or something else entirely? A place where the laws of physics start to warp and twist, perhaps? Scientists have a term for this, a cosmic horizon. It's like being on that boat in the middle of the ocean, with water stretching out as far as your eyes can see. But knowing full well that there's land somewhere beyond that horizon, even if you can't see it yet. We're in the same situation with the universe. We see galaxies, stars, and planets, but beyond that cosmic horizon, there could be anything. It could be another universe altogether, one with different rules, different physics. Imagine that. A place where the very fabric of reality isn't just bent, but completely different from anything we've ever known. There's even a theory that our universe could be just one bubble in a massive, frothy sea of universes, the multiverse. It's like bubbles in a boiling pot of water, each one separate, but part of the same chaotic stew. Who knows what the universe next door could be like? Maybe there's another you, living a completely different life. Or maybe it's a universe filled with alien civilizations beyond anything we could ever imagine. It's enough to make your head spin. And even though Hobbes and many others have urged us not to chase after things we can't measure, there's something about human curiosity that refuses to be silenced. We've always been explorers, pushing the boundaries of what we know, even when there's no clear answer waiting for us. The edge of the universe, whatever it may be, is the ultimate frontier, a place where science, philosophy, and imagination collide.